You ever watched the movie The Mummy, the 1999 one? I like that movie. Reminds me of my childhood. Anyways, I saw it the other day and it got me thinking about the Book of the Dead, which is this kind of book or a pamphlet full of spells and incantations for the recently deceased to navigate through the underworld until they reached paradise, which was essentially Egypt, but without the suffering. That was paradise for the Egyptians of yore. This here tale goes by the name of Ro Nu Pairetem Hro, which is the name of the actual Book of the Dead in real life. So, let me tell you a story. Waking up inside a coffin, buried beneath ground, must be one of the worst things that can happen to anybody. To find yourself in a strange place, confined to such a reduced space that it physically oppresses you, is one of the cruelest, most confusing punishments possible. Yet, of course, if it happens to you after you die, the first thing that you think is not where you are. The question that immediately arrives in your brain is, am I still alive? The answer is that you are not, but it's difficult to realize it yet. It's with calmness that one begins to analyze the current situation, to analyze oneself. You feel what you believe to be your limbs until you realize you are not breathing. Then you discover that you do not need to. You are eyeless, but there's so much darkness that you couldn't see yourself even if you had them. In fact, you can see nothing around you. The only thing there is a faraway light, and something tells you that you must go toward it. You feel quite a lot of pressure on the front of your body, as if you were facing down, and you even giggle slightly when you think that they stuffed your coffin topsy-turvy into the hole. They didn't. It's almost like a memory. It was you instinctively who turned around, same as a baby that places itself headfirst inside its mother's womb before entering the world. Now you realize that it's not pressure but a slight pull that you feel. Since you're facing it, you suppose that it's the distant light that draws you toward it. Of course, even though you are dead, you must make your way through the ground. You advance easily since you are not corporeal anymore. As if it were water instead of the solid floor that it should be, you swim towards your destiny. It is then that you ask yourself if you are really below ground, and you remember that you don't know where you are. You still can't see much, even though everything starts to clear the more you approach that light at the end of that tunnel. Despite it all, you move forward slowly so you have time to think. It's difficult to describe the visual form of what you believe to be your essence, or mind, or soul, or whatever you want to call it. If you squeeze your fist, you can feel how your fingers move. But as soon as you want to focus on them, they disappear. You can see in 360 degrees. Well, you don't see, you perceive everything around you. I wonder if that's the way in which we all spirits feel. Depending on what you believed in life, the descent can be worrying. After all, who wants to go down to hell? If you try to move in the opposite direction of the light, you'll find that it's very difficult. You again feel that pull a bit more decisive now. It's like gravity. In fact, it very well may be that that's the force acting on you, carrying you ever closer to the center of Earth. Because that's exactly where you're headed. It resembles a sun, an incandescent ball burning at an extremely high temperature. When you reach it, you feel the heat envelop you. It does so pleasantly, as if that core of matter invited you to jump in and join it. You can choose to do so as fast or as slow as you wish to. No one, nor nothing, will hasten your decision. There's not much to explore around the center of Earth, only what you think may be magma and other necessary substances to keep the world as we know it running, as we knew it when we were human and had a concrete body. I don't know if we still can be classified as such, but in this moment, who cares about labels? They no longer exist. More and more of us arrive with every passing breath. We are more than can be counted, and every time one of us melts with the core of the earth, we all feel peace. There are some who say that we do because that's how our cycle must conclude. After our journey, we must return to the source from which life blossoms, the force that fills not only us but all living organisms on the planet. Animals have soul, vegetables and fruits too. Not sure how I've recognized them since all essences are alike down here. They all shine, albeit in subtly different ways. I've noticed that they're the ones who plunge the fastest into that incandescent sun. I used to suppose that their instinct is strong and that be why they fearlessly followed the cycle of life. So normal, so natural. I met someone whose body was incinerated. I don't know how long ago. Time is meaningless here. There are no days nor nights nor any other division that may provide them with some type of validity. I asked him what his experience had been like since he hadn't been placed inside a coffin. He told me that his experience had been nearly identical to mine, finding himself confined some meters below ground when he awoke to his new existence. I told him that then maybe his family had changed their minds and that he was ultimately buried. He said no. When I asked him why he was so sure, he only answered that that's what he felt. And he then leapt into the center of earth. He was at peace. I now believe that all animals and plants are when they die, and that's what I lack to go on my way. They say that ghosts are, after all, echoes that have left pending matters on the material world, who believe that they lack closure, that they have doubts. The ascent is very difficult but not impossible. In time, I suppose one could go back to what we left behind. It's not something that I want to do, go back, but I'm still reluctant to move forward. One would think that stripping from a physical shell would also take away all the beliefs that were held as certainties. But there is no essence exactly the same to another, despite there being an infinite number of them. We all learn at our own rhythm. We all believe what we please, and we can cling or not to whatever for as long as we wish. What will happen to the identity that defines me? Will it be lost among everything else? Will it drown in the ocean of consciences that merge with that incandescent ball? Will this one be a real death, and what I am experimenting is just the antechamber to my true end? Or will there be something else? Will this energy bring me back to life but in another identity, as all of those who believe in reincarnation say? We've always thought of the unknown as something fearsome. At least I know I have, which is why I have trouble going into that uncertainty. Maybe my comprehension will widen when I melt with the core of the earth, but if it doesn't, what if I just disappear? What if all that I was, what I couldn't be, and all that I am in this moment simply gets lost? Sure enough, the alternative is a fate that can be even worse than death. Remaining in this place without significant agency, merely watching how the rest of the spirits move along, accepting the course unbound and embracing a future that holds no promises nor assurances, could be a prison that could turn eternal. There are no feet here, no legs, nor any tissue or organ that brings me closer to my destiny, and yet I do. I am on the edge, ready for the final jump I'll take in my life and death. Have I left all of my reservations behind? And am I really willing to change my existence and maybe let it evaporate? It's just one step, one final step. Will I take it someday? Isn't that the question that we all face, to move on or to not move on, to be or not to be? Food for thought, isn't it? Anyways, assalamu alaikum, and I'll see you when I see you.